Hey guys, I know you can't see my face. However, I just wanted to talk to you about volume. Yesterday we did a lab in class where scholars were actually able to discover how to measure the volume of irregularly shaped objects in science. So volume is a concept that you will actually talk about in math and science. However, in 5th grade, we are talking about volume in science, talking about how to measure volume using water displacement. And I will explain this to you as we get further into the video. However, there's two different ways that you will learn about measuring volume. In math class, you will learn how to use a fancy formula and multiply the length and width and height to find volume of shapes, and multiply all kinds of like the area of the base times the height and all kinds of cool stuff. However, we're not going to do that math here in science. This does involve math, which is exciting, but it's going to be a little bit different because we are talking about how to measure the volume of irregularly shaped items. So it would be super hard to find the area of this magnet per se, because there's no normal shapes in it, right? There's a curve, there's all different types of things. Or if I wanted to measure the volume of an apple, that's going to be hard because it's not perfectly shaped, right? It's irregularly shaped. So we kind of talked about what volume is first. We just said, you know, that volume is the amount of space something takes up. And we were talking about how would you measure that. And so they kind of discussed different ideas that they had. And then through questions and discussions, they were able to decide that you could use water to measure the volume of an object. And then they talked about like the different containers you could use. So we have a beaker, and then we also have a graduated cylinder. And we also talked about how we would want to use a graduated cylinder because it would be more precise, because there are more precise measurements on here rather than going from like 100 to 300. You would get a more precise measurement using a graduated cylinder. And so to measure the volume of an object using displacement, we're going to start with water in our graduated cylinder. And we talked about with measuring volume, you have to be at eye level whenever you are trying to decide what where the water is, like on what line, whenever you're deciding the measurement. And so I'm going to get down at eye level, and I'm going to start at 150. Okay, a little bit more. And we also talked about, like, with measuring, it can feel odd to take so long or to have to be so precise, and be patient and take our time, but that it's important because we want to make sure that we get exact measurements. So I'm starting with 150 milliliters of water in here, and what I'm going to do is now I'm going to drop in my object. And the water, if you notice, the water goes up. The water level rises. And so now, if you count, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see here. I would say that there is 152 milliliters now. And so what we talked about is that you would take 152 and subtract 150, because you would want to see what the difference was. And difference means that we subtract. And so we would take the ending number, the largest number, 152, and we would subtract the ending number, or the beginning number, sorry. You would take the ending number, the largest one, subtract the beginning number, and what's left over, your answer, the 2, is going to be the mass of your item. okay? And I will post more clear instructions with a video with a professional video maker. However, I just wanted you guys to have an update of what we did yesterday. So that is how you measure the volume of something using water displacement. So you have a beginning number or measurement of how much water is in here in your graduated cylinder. You add your object and the amount of water, like the amount of rising that happens, so the level that it goes up to, the difference between the two is the measure of the volume of your object. And we will practice this plenty, so you will hopefully get more understanding than you might will with this video.